Right now, an unexpected turn in the case of a missing boy last seen nearly 8 years ago at a resort in Wisconsin Dells.
And several injuries this morning, including students when a school bus crashes in Rock County.
Plus, a chance to reconnect and get a much-needed adrenaline rush. We'll tell you about the Freedom Freefall program and how it's helping our veterans.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining us. The family of an Illinois boy who was last seen in Wisconsin 8 years ago is devastated tonight after a man falsely told police he was Timothy Pitson.
Authorities are now identifying that man as 23-year-old Brian Reaney from Ohio. Our Rose Schmidt is here to explain this complicated and still developing case. Rose?
Yes, well, authorities say there is a renewed awareness tonight in Timothy Pitson's case. His grandma says she hopes wherever he is that he's happy and is being taken care of. His family called the past 24 hours exhausting. They made those comments at a news conference this afternoon after finding out Timothy is indeed still missing. Yesterday, a man now identified as Brian Reaney falsely told police he was Timothy and that he escaped kidnappers in Ohio and ran across a bridge into Kentucky. The FBI says DNA evidence proved his story is not true. Timothy was from Aurora, Illinois, but went missing while visiting the Wisconsin Dells in 2011. Aurora police say they've received thousands of tips over the years about this case. The family says they've always hoped Timothy would return and are now figuring out their next steps.
It's kind of back to ground zero for us. You know, kind of reliving everything that did happen and renewing the loss one more time. You know, hard.
Timothy's father reported him missing in May of 2011. The next day, he was last seen with his mom as she checked out of the Kalahari resorts in the Dells. Authorities say days later, his mom died by suicide in Rockford. The FBI says it hopes one day to reunite him with his family. If you have any information in this case, you are asked to call the Aurora Police Department or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Advocates say the best thing that you can do is to share pictures of these missing children on social media.
That's an important reminder. Thank you, Rose.
On this cool Thursday, let's look ahead. Your first alert forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Gary Kinalty. Gary?
Well, you're right. It is cool. That's mainly due to the clouds and the showers that are moving on through. But tomorrow we're back to sunshine, and temperatures could be almost 20 degrees warmer than they are right now. Visible cloud track shows plenty of clouds across Wisconsin. The showers are mainly confined to the northern and central portions of the state. A little bit of snow mixed in there as well. It's possible we could still see a stray shower through about midnight tonight before we just see some areas of fog. Otherwise, the best chances of seeing showers, at least in the short term, will be up toward the Dells and over toward Richland Center. Low temperatures generally have been in the upper 30s to the lower 40s. Here in Madison, we topped out with a high of 44, and that was very similar to temperatures through much of southern Wisconsin. And we've now dropped to 38 here in town. That is our low for the day. Temperatures will hold nearly steady through the evening hours. Otherwise, the winds are starting to lighten up a bit. That will lead to some areas of fog overnight. The strongest wind gusts now shifting out toward Grant and Crawford counties, where winds still gusting to about 25 miles per hour. By tomorrow morning, those temperatures should be down into the upper 30s with mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little patchy fog. But as we turn partly sunny for tomorrow, look for a high temperature to jump up to 60 degrees. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Firefighters are responding to a fire at an apartment complex in Monroe. They were sent to the Monroe Village Apartments. It's on 4th Avenue, about 3:40 this afternoon. We know that 2 people were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. No firefighters were hurt. It's still unclear what caused it. There is said to be smoke damage in 6 to 8 apartment units. About a dozen people are displaced. The Red Cross now on scene helping with the arrangements. A Rock County deputy, part of a domestic violence investigation, has been put on administrative leave. The Rock County Sheriff's Office says 26-year-old Keegan Kelly was arrested yesterday. Now, the alleged incidents he was involved in took place in both Janesville and Lake Delton between Kelly and a female companion. The Lake Delton Police Department was contacted by the victim on Tuesday. Once the criminal investigation is complete, the Rock County Sheriff's Office will conduct an internal employee misconduct investigation.
4 students were taken to the hospital following a school bus crash this morning in the town of Beloit. Administrators say it was an accident caused by a medical emergency. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter is in our bureau in Janesville with how this all happened. Adam?
Well, Susan, this morning at around 7 a.m., a bus carrying about a dozen middle and high school students crashed on East Inman Parkway in the town of Beloit. And despite several injuries and a couple of people going to the hospital, today administrators are saying things still could have been much worse.
A knockdown tree and a torn up yard.
The only indications left of a school bus crash that happened this morning in the town of Beloit, one that sent 4 students and a bus driver to the hospital. Fire Chief Gene Wright was on his way to work when he saw the bus off the road.
Anytime you have a school bus, you're looking at anywhere from, no kids to 70 kids on a bus. So just to get inside the bus and assess how many are injured.
He says while all the kids were able to get off the bus, Wright believes 3 of the students had broken bones and 1 a more severe injury that he thinks could require surgery. Superintendent Dennis McCarthy says he saw firefighters with the bus when he was on his way to work.
When you hear, obviously, about accidents, your first concern is everybody okay? That's what people want to know.
He quickly learned the driver had a medical emergency and lost consciousness behind the wheel.
It's the first face that you see in the morning. It's the last face that you see at night. And we stress that with our bus drivers about that, trying to be that friendly person that the kids feel confident with and comfortable with.
The driver also taken to the hospital following the crash. Town of Beloit police say they are investigating the incident but aren't recommending any charges at this time.
It's a pretty tight-knit community and it's hard to see that happen to someone.
McCarthy says despite the accident and the injuries, things could have been much worse had the crash happened somewhere else, not so close to help.
I think part of the maybe minor miracle in this situation is that it occurred where it did. Directly in front of the police station, directly immediate adjacency to the fire station where we have our first responders coming from.
One thing I did ask Superintendent McCarthy about is what's next? A crash like this, what kind of safety precautions could it lead to in the future? Namely, maybe putting seatbelts on buses. He says the idea of putting seatbelts on school buses is not something the district is considering at this point right now, but he does say they are committed to making buses safer through other methods like exterior cameras at this time.
Adam Duxter at the Janesville Gazette. Adam, thank you.
The power is back on for more than 6,000 customers after a car ran into a pole on University Avenue where Middleton meets Madison. That pole was located at University and Allen Boulevard. Crews spent the day on site working on this outage. Madison Gas and Electric officials say power was restored by about 4 this afternoon. And Madison police say there was another incident earlier this morning involving a truck hitting a power pole. That incident at Hoboken Road at Lake Point Drive about 8:40 this morning. Power pole was hit and caused a chain reaction, pulled 2 more poles down, which caused wires to fall on an occupied vehicle, I should say. The people were safely removed from the vehicle and did not suffer any injuries.
Still to come tonight on News 3 Now at 6, some area veterans will soon be taking a leap of faith.
How a free-falling adventure is helping them through PTSD. That story is next at 6.
The suicide rate for veterans experiencing PTSD is a nationwide problem. It's reported 20 veterans a day will die by suicide.
As Jamie Perez shows us, a local group is aiming to help any veteran who may be struggling, one leap of faith at a time.
For many people, jumping out of a plane is a bucket list item. For many veterans, they've done this before, but under much different circumstances.
Well, I think a lot of these veterans, they need that adrenaline rush. They come home from combat, and a lot of them are lost.
Andy Van Handel is organizing an event for veterans called Freedom Free Fall. To do a whole lot of this.
To use skydiving as a way for veterans to cope with PTSD, because the PTSD suicide rate amongst veterans is 20 a day.
Being a veteran himself, he's seen a lot. And over the past several years this event has been put on, his mind has expanded as far as the sky is wide.
And the smiles on these guys' faces when they come down after that jump.
Could have asked for a better shot.
Well, that's skydiving here at Seven Hills, and thank you for your service.
Oh, you're welcome.
The adrenaline that they're feeling, they're just riding an all-time high.
In 2015, 9 vets from 6 different wars took this leap of faith.
How are you, brother? It's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life.
This year, they're taking 40 vets up in the sky to fall into bliss. This jump has changed many veterans' lives.
We've put up over 100 veterans in the 5 years.
It's been an exhilarating experience for some.
Wow!
For others, it's brought them to tears.
The most beautiful calm.
You're telling me it changed their life, and now they're back on the right track in life. So it's just been an incredible ride, and we're hoping to see the event grow.
Sometimes it isn't necessarily the jump that changes them.
A lot of these guys, they need the camaraderie. They may not necessarily make the skydive, but they might come out to the event just to hang with their buddies and hang with the other veterans that are there.
If you know a veteran who would like to do this, or you would like to nominate, you can submit their name online to jump on Friday, June 21st.
It's such an awesome thing.
I'm Jamie Perez.
Yeah! Oh my Lord, that was great! Yeah!
News 3 Now.
I think he liked that.
He loved it.
The Freedom Free Fall comes at no charge to the 40 veterans who do the jump. They will also get free video of their experience. You saw some of those there. Now, a link to submit a nomination, as Jamie mentioned, is at channel3000.com. If you do nominate someone, however, they tell us, make sure that they are okay with doing it first. No surprises.
They can always hang out with the other veterans, too, like they said.
Boy, do they have fun with that. Yeah. All right, still ahead tonight, we are celebrating some of our brightest and best local educators.
We'll check in with Charlotte. She's on location tonight at Maple Bluff Country Club. She's hosting this year's top-notch teacher banquet. We'll check in with Charlotte next at 6.
And we can expect a milder weekend ahead, as Gary mentioned, and he'll have the full details of your weekend forecast in just a minute. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is one of our favorite nights of the year where we can celebrate all of our top-notch teachers.
They're gathering tonight at a special banquet, which is held in their honor, and Charlotte is doing the MC duties tonight. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello, Susan and Eric. This is truly one of my favorite nights here, especially here working at News 3 Now. This is the Top-Notch Teacher Banquet. Believe it or not, this is the 19th year for the banquet, but 20 years we have been doing this program where viewers nominate teachers they believe who are top-notch, and believe me, we get a plethora of nominees every single week, and it is truly hard for the committee to choose who is that top-notch teacher for the month. If we could highlight every single teacher, we'd be very busy. Tonight is the banquet for what I like to call the class of 2018, from last year, January through December, and we are going to honor them with their own award. And also, some of the teachers don't know it, but in Madison Magazine, which is our sister publication, they have a whole page dedicated to them to show our magazine readers that they are top-notch. And I'd like to introduce to you who we've been fondly calling Miss December, Kelly Seidel from Prairie View Elementary in Oregon. Hi. Hi, she is an art teacher and her room is just absolutely amazing. Your students are very lucky. Quickly, Kelly, yes. What does this top-notch teacher program mean to you as a teacher of 20 years?
You know, it's really made me feel quite honored and special. I think in our profession especially, we really, you know, it's sort of a selfless type of profession, and we really kind of are just looking for that kind of reinforcement that, hey, you know, we are doing things that are right. We can see it every day in our kids' faces and all of that. It's just wonderful that way, but it's just sometimes nice to have that kind of above and beyond recognition to kind of make us feel a little extra special. So,
well, this night is for you. Thank you very much for doing what you do.
Thank you.
So we are just starting off with dinner right now, and in about 30, 45 minutes, the awards ceremony will begin, where we will watch everybody's story. And trust me, this is a night that's really inspiring, and it's full of hope for these teachers and the teachers out there and teachers to be in the future. So Eric and Susan, I will send it back to you.
And it's well deserved.
Yeah. And Charlotte, enjoy the evening. I know she works hard on those stories as well. So thank you very much, Charlotte at Maple Bluff. Charlotte, thank you.
And Gary's here now with a look at the weather, and boy, what a gloomy day today.
Yeah, that kept temperatures down, but you know, the good thing is we got to compare it to tomorrow. It'll be about 20 degrees milder. Let's take a look first of all at Doppler track. You can see some light showers moving on through. Most of these will be out of here by about midnight tonight. I don't even think there'll be any snow in the northern parts of our viewing area because temperatures have been in the upper 30s. But the live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville and the WISC Skycam paint the gloomy picture, and you can see the drops of rain from time to time on the Skycam here as well. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing mostly cloudy skies. The almanac for today shows our high temperature only made it up to 44 degrees. The low temperature is actually the current temperature of 38. Our temperatures may fluctuate up and down a little bit. We got a little bit of a rain shower right now. That's why we're a little cooler. Winds are out of the east at 13 miles per hour. You can see a series of weather systems. Our weather system moving through here, the one for the weekend that'll bring us milder conditions, and then one behind it out in the Pacific Ocean that'll be in here for the middle part of next week. So we're getting into a little more active weather pattern. Our storm system mainly passing to the south. Before the next one gets here, notice the winds becoming southwesterly, and that'll push temperatures up into the upper 60s for the weekend. So once this high pressure system moves off to the east and our showers move on out, skies are clearing, and notice the warm front out to the west and the other side, of which temperatures are in the 60s. So we have milder weather on the way coming in for the weekend. Look for skies to be mostly cloudy tonight. Showers will gradually come to an end. Could see some patchy fog toward morning. Low temperature at 37. Tomorrow, look for a high temperature of 60 degrees as skies turn partly sunny. So that'll be a big contrast to today. On future track, again, the showers moving out overnight, maybe some areas of fog, low temperatures in the upper 30s. Highs tomorrow around 60 as skies turn partly sunny in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, clouds, a few clouds move back in. Temperatures will be in the lower 40s, and then look for skies to be generally cloudy on Saturday with some breaks in the clouds. High temperatures in the upper 60s. There is a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm, but the best chances will be mainly in central Wisconsin. Maybe a few of those could drift into areas north of Madison. Better chance of showers and thunderstorms arrives on Sunday, but still with a high temperature of 67. As we head into next week, though, temperatures start turning a little cooler. Should be dry on Monday, Tuesday upper 50s, and then some showers from late Wednesday into Thursday. Could actually mix with a few flakes of snow Thursday night before ending on Friday morning. Temperatures in the 40s for the end of next week, and then back into the mid-50s for the following weekend.
Two Badgers will play at the Final Four this weekend in Minneapolis. Not in the Final Four, at the Final Four. The story is coming up in sports.
Hi, I'm Michelle Corolla. Tonight on the news at 9, University Avenue and parts of Middleton is expected to close for construction for a couple of months. We're going to let you know what that means for commuters. It's all first on Fox at 9.
The teams have arrived in Minneapolis for the Final Four this weekend. This year, the semifinals and finals are back on CBS and News 3 Now starting Saturday. Some folks around here will be rooting for the Big Ten team, Michigan State, but a lot more people will probably be pulling for Virginia, coached by former Badger assistant coach Tony Bennett. A year ago, Virginia became the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed, UMBC. Bennett's team has somehow recovered from that to get to the Final Four.
I knew we had to be there for each other in ways that we never would have had that not happened. So it was about sitting together, talking, and just working through stuff and battling through it. Those first few months were with those guys, it was just, we're gonna keep going through it. But everything was intentional about trying to respond in that from pretty much that moment after that game.
Virginia will play the first game of the Final Four Saturday here on News 3 Now. The Cavaliers will play Auburn just after 5, with Michigan State and Texas Tech playing the second game just before 8 Saturday. It's worth it to make it to the Final Four. Here's the breakdown of the payouts to conferences. With all the Big Ten wins, the conference will get $38 million to be shared equally by the 14 conference teams just from the NCAA tournament. Ethan Happ is going to be playing in the Final Four this weekend. Well, sort of. He is one of 4 players on the Big Ten team on the 3-on-3 national championship. Happ, Nebraska's Glenn Watson, Indiana's Juwan Morgan, and Minnesota's Jordan Murphy will play on the Big Ten team. They'll play the games inside Mall of America. The winners of the tournament split $100,000. And tonight, former Badger Khalil Iverson will be in the College Slam Dunk Contest. That'll be televised on ESPN at 8. Iverson will be one of 8 competitors tonight in the Collegiate Slam Dunk Championship. That will be held at Target Center in Minneapolis. Wisconsin junior to be running back Jonathan Taylor probably doesn't need to get a lot of work in spring practice, but he's out there. Taylor led the nation in rushing yards and rushing yards per game last season, so his workload was heavy. 307 carries, putting him over the 600 carry mark for his first 2 seasons, racking up 29 rushing touchdowns and a 7-yard per carry average. Taylor said he made the jump between his freshman and sophomore seasons. Now the Heisman hopeful wants to make another jump before year 3.
Didn't really know as much freshman year going into sophomore year, so that spring ball transition was, trying to learn it, and now it's about, putting it into action, making plays, like when I'm in there.
There's things that he can do to work on, he is working on, which has been good. And then it's what are we offensively, or can we be a little bit more balanced or not? Those are things I think to be determined.
The Brewers are off tonight. They'll open a series with the Chicago Cubs at Miller Park tomorrow night. The Cubs are playing in Atlanta right now. And at the Women's World Ice Hockey Championship in Espoo, Finland, former Badgers were all over the United States opening win over Finland 6-2. Hillary Knight, Brianna Decker, and Annie Pankowski all scored goals. And goaltender Alex Rigsby was in the net for that 6-2 win. How about Annie Pankowski? Wins the national championship, comes back for the celebration on Live at 4, what, last week?
Mm-hmm.
Now she's in Espoo, Finland.
A lot of Badgers. Hey, it's great to see. I know it's going to be a big issue. Talked about the Final Four, but Tony Bennett, and what was it, 20 years ago now?
19. It was 2000, and he was actually deemed a manager on the 2000 team. He wasn't an assistant coach technically, but he sure helped. And he remembers being in the back of the room for the news conference and saying, I want to do that someday like my dad, and he did.
He's turned out to be a great coach.
Rooting for him.
Final check, Gary.
Still a few showers out there. Most of those will be winding down later on tonight. They're probably be gone by about midnight. Temperatures are pretty chilly right now. Upper 30s, lower 40s. But look at the high temperature for tomorrow. Back up to 60 and upper 60s for the weekend. Some shower and thunderstorm chances there, and turning a little cooler next week.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Have a good evening.